afternoon and welcome to Have a Chat. I'm Audrey Lynch with my beautiful co-star Judy Loge, and we're here back again with Have a Chat for another beautiful, gorgeous Monday here in Miramichi.
It is a beautiful Monday.
It is. The sun is shining and it just makes it feel that much better, despite the fact that winter is upon us.
It is, but I'll take this mildness. I love it.
No, exactly. It's going to be a mild week, a little messy with the rain and stuff, so we just want to let our viewers know to be careful out there with the sub-zero temperatures, and then they rise again, that it can make it a little bit more treacherous out there than usual. But we're going to start off our show like we always do. We do have some great guests lined up for you today.
We do.
But we start off with a positive quote, and Judy's going to share her little quote with us today.
I found one that I really love, and it goes like this.
Okay.
Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change we seek. By the guy I love so much. I do love him. Barack Obama.
Yes.
President Barack Obama.
Yeah. No, that's a fantastic quote, and it's true. It's
is.
true. I mean, a lot of people, I think, one voice is not enough, or one person is not enough to make a change. But that's where it starts. That's where it begins.
Right.
Without that, there is no beginning.
You have to have a dream. So if you're going to say, well, I think someone else might do that, or I'm going to need Audrey to help me do that, or whatever, you have to start off on your own and then gather your network around you to make things happen. But if it's your baby that you've brainstormed and it's a really awesome idea, go with it. And and actually, my husband and I and my son, oldest son, Evan, and his girlfriend attended Obama at the Scotia Centre last Wednesday.
Okay, yes.
In Halifax.
How was that?
That was amazing.
I've
long admired him. Full house, 9,000 people.
Wow.
3,000 of them being students that President Obama, they still call him president even though he's not in-house.
Right.
They always refer to him as that. He brought in 3,000 people that were young leaders in the community or just students that he thought we're going to make a difference in the future.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, it really is. That's fantastic.
He gave great praise to the youth, and he said they are the movers and shakers, and it's time for them to take the baton from us old fogies, as he put it, and they are technologically inclined. They're savvy. We're in a very fast-moving generation. Kids are smart today. Unfortunately, some of the media stuff has influenced their ability to...
It interferes with their ability to move as far forward as quickly as they actually potentially can do.
Or it interferes with... They're caught up in the wrong stuff with the media. If they're focused on the good stuff out there... and technology in the right way, it can take them many places.
That's right.
But if they're going to be just sitting there on their like just doing idle things, texting, it's just
that comes with wisdom. That comes with age and maturity and things like that, for them to realize that stuff doesn't hold any value or any importance in their life, and that there's greater things out there.
And he feels he really gave the youth a great talking to, and he had one gentleman, a young man of color, stand up in the audience who addresses violence. He's a very strong advocate in Halifax for violence against youth, and I was so proud that he gave him that honor to say, I would like to shake your hand later on and talk to you about what you're doing.
So now, was this an interactive? Did he just speak, or did he take questions?
It was called Barack Obama in Conversation. So it wasn't him at a podium, stage, boring, just like sitting there watching him. He had the lady moderator. She's the head of the co-op, Diana Krelderman. And she interviewed him just like you and I would talk.
Okay.
So, you've come such a far distance, and as president, and the strides you've made. And she talked about what was his most heartbreaking moment as a president. And he actually referred to the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting in Connecticut when 20 people lost their lives, including all those children. And when he said that, I just thought he's such a beautiful human being. Of all the things he's seen in the years he reigned as president, that would be something that I would expect for him to say.
Yeah.
He's a human being with a kind heart, and he's very real. That's what I love about Barack Obama.
That's fantastic.
And he's calm.
Was he really? Yeah.
He's so calm.
Easygoing.
And so cool.
Yeah. Very poised.
Yeah, you'd think he's just sitting there talking to his wife. It's just so relaxed.
That was fantastic.
I loved it. And he was all about the future and global warming and all that.
That's true. I actually, referring to your quote and going to see Barack Obama, I actually noticed my daughter was away this weekend in PEI, and so I scooted in her room to put some laundry away and stuff, and I noticed she had rearranged her room once again, and there is a huge poster on her wall of Martin Luther King.
Oh, good for her.
And it says, I have a dream. And I mean, at her age, at 23, still referring back to,
Love
you
it.
know, the people of influence, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That really, you know, one little sentence is making a difference in her life.
Well, he certainly did.
No, definitely.
And I stood where he stood and where he said that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we took
You've done
pictures.
that?
Yeah, but
Oh.
it just felt like going back in time, and it was an honor just to be where he stood, basically.
Well, that's thrilling. That's thrilling.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got a chance
yeah,
to go there
it was
and
beautiful.
do that.
He was funny
Yeah.
too.
So it's coming up upon us. Like Christmas is not that far away. I'm allowed to say that word. And do you have you started? Have you started your Christmas shopping?
When I travel or when I go about the city and I see
Mm-hmm.
something that reminds me of somebody, I'll pick it up and tuck it away. Unfortunately, I do it a little bit too early so that
I
by the time you're ready
That's,
to shop,
I worry about that.
you
yeah.
have too much for one person.
No, I worry about buying things along the way that I
Yeah.
think are a good deal. Oh, that would be perfect for them, and then forgetting what I've accumulated. So I've left it to the last minute too many Christmases in a row, but this time I'm actually jotting down the ideas and
Good.
thoughts as they come to me and as I see them.
Yes.
So that my list is already made, I just have to go get it.
My list is not made, and I think
No.
what I should start doing, I say I'm going to do every year, is if I buy a gift for my sister Jennifer, wrap it, tag it, and make a little note under the tag that it's inside, so you forget. Sometimes you
Yes.
forget what you wrapped.
This is true.
Right? Unless it's a book or a
This is
calendar,
true.
it's like,
This
what the heck
happens.
did I buy for her?
That's
Is
a
it,
real
what's in
thing.
that box? Jewelry or what is it? So
No.
what I do is I take my sticky, like
Okay.
Merry Christmas, Audrey, and underneath that little little fold where you put your stick,
Yes.
I put
What it was?
like necklace or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. No.
So
that,
I'm
that would
underway.
help.
I'm underway
I am.
slowly and surely.
Well, I started off by getting in the mood. I really wanted. I had Joan Cripps was in my chair this week, getting her hair done, and we had a big say about Hospice Miramichi
Yes.
and the big Home for the Holidays that they were putting together for their big fundraiser at the Logie House.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely love the feel of being around Christmas music and all the beautiful Christmas trees. You should have
Put you
seen them.
in there.
The smell of the apple cider that they were doing and the little baked goods, and they had a silent auction.
Yeah.
And that's how I like to start my Christmas season, and getting in the mood to get the shopping done, and
Perfect.
family and all of that together. And the trees were absolutely stunning. As I went along, instead of taking pictures, because a lot of people and Hospice Miramichi had already posted a bunch of pictures,
Mm-hmm.
I did little video clips, and it really, really brings you into that room.
certainly does.
And
The
brings people to
ambiance.
go see. Yes. Yeah.
And I couldn't
absolutely
be.
stunning.
I couldn't go. I had 2 meetings back to back, and I had an eye infection, and we won't get into my personal
No.
issues, but I couldn't go.
No.
But I did go to see the movie last Christmas.
Oh, you did?
Before all
I
of the
didn't-
tree thing
I didn't get
happened.
to see it yet, but
No.
that movie is, everybody's talking about. Did you go see it yet? Things like that.
I was not in love with it.
Okay.
I'm in love
Okay.
with the actress, Amelia Clark. I think
Okay.
she's just absolutely divine.
One of the main reasons why you went to go see it was because she was in it?
Because she was
Okay.
in it.
Okay.
She's the star
Yeah.
from Games of Thrones.
Right.
And Henry Golding, Crazy Rich Asians, was
Right.
the other
Oh,
star in
okay.
it. Emma Thompson was also in it, and she also was part of the production crew. She was in charge of screenplay along with another lady.
Okay.
I was just highly disappointed. Maybe
you? Okay.
I was really excited about
Are you into Christmas movies though? Because not everybody
yeah,
is.
if they're good, but
Okay.
if they're good. But it wasn't until the end that it was really good. So I
Okay.
was sitting there like this, thinking, "Oh my, like this has to pick up a little bit."
No.
And it
So that's
did.
your review.
And
That's
a
your
few.
review.
That was
Okay.
my review.
Okay.
Was that the acting was delightful.
Okay.
But other than that, to me personally, I would say go see it if you want just to be
Yeah.
having a night out and entertained and have light, something light to watch. The acting's wonderful. The message at the end is beautiful. So for
Okay.
nothing else, it has
Okay.
a great ending.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, that would be Judy Loget's review on on the Christmas movie. What is it called? The holiday?
Last Christmas.
The Last Christmas. Okay,
Yes.
definitely. There's something else that's coming up. Is it this weekend? Yes,
It is this
It is
weekend.
November 23rd,
Right.
and the Women of Influence is having their gala,
An
their
annual.
awards night, I believe. And you have the list of the recipients and the categories in which that they have placed.
Yes, it's an annual event put on by the Women's Network, so the Women
Yes, the
Entrepreneurial
Women
Network
Yep.
in Miramichi. They're made up of a great group of ladies that honor various
They
women in our
are.
community, whether it's business or their certain profession or just something that they've done that's influential in modeling for other people. So it is Saturday, November 23rd, and it will be held at the Rod Miramichi, starting at 5:30 with cocktail hour. And this is a chance to network with other women in business and to get out for a social evening. It's a 3-course meal.
Wow.
Always delicious, and it will be catered to by the Rod, and it's $50 a ticket plus the tax. But again, you're there for an amazing cause while you're having a 3-course dinner. So I am going to be the MC again this year, which I feel honored to do. It's always a packed house honoring very wonderful women, and I like to be part of that celebration.
Yes.
So this is a night about looking at strong women and seeing what they've done in the community and why
Well, it's inspirational
it is
to
inspirational.
see the work that they've put into their business or their careers or their life itself.
Personal health
right?
and wellness.
Yes, exactly. And see how far they come and listen to a little bit on their story of how they got to be where they are.
I love that evening.
Yeah,
I really do.
It is very, very inspirational. I love it. I know I've attended it a few times. And seeing the young women in the room going and listening and being part of it as well, and
Looking
being
up to that.
inspired. Yeah,
Exactly.
it is. It's all about strong women, empowering strong women.
Yeah.
You know, have each other's back.
The first year, actually, I'm just saying a fact. I don't want to brag, but I was the first woman of influence in 2012 when it first began.
Oh, yes,
so
that's right, too.
So it's special to me because of that being the first ever in 2012.
Exactly.
And we're
because
almost
that's-
2020.
Is that the year that the Women of Influence was created here in Miramichi?
Yes.
It was, yeah.
So, like,
Exactly.
looking back on those years, I've attended every single one of those since that, and I've just watched women in our community grow and grow, and I'm happy to be part of it.
Well, I mean, it's no news to anybody else. You've been an inspiration for many women across not just Miramichi, but across the province, and I'm sure they've heard about who Judy Loge is across Canada.
Well, back to you, Audrey.
No,
You're an
exactly.
inspiration in so many ways yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the winners this year,
Okay.
winner of influence is Anne Georges. Anne is being recognized for her decades of volunteer work and dedication for promoting various healthy lifestyles for women all across the board, and not just women, people of all ages and men as well.
That's right.
She is a firecracker. To know her is to love her. Wait till
Yes.
you see her if you go.
Okay.
Congratulations to Anne. A female entrepreneur of the year this year is Kathy Astol. I had the pleasure of being in university with Kathy.
Oh, okay.
She's one of those people, as soon as you meet her, you love her. So I'm so proud of her. She is the owner of the Sunny Corner General Store and Curtis Corner Convenience, and she's just a ray of sunshine and very
I
deserving.
hear her on the radio all the time. I love
Love
her.
her.
Her energy, her, you know what I
Kathy
mean? I've
is-
never met her personally, but I feel like I know her.
And if you don't know her, you're missing out. That's what
Yeah.
I want to say about Kathy Astol.
Yes.
A female professional and excellence of the year goes to Candace Curtis. You know Candace.
Yes, I do know Candace. My youngest daughter knows Candace. She
Yes.
had gone and attended one of her musical boot camps, and then
Mm-hmm.
with drama and everything else like that. But Candace and I actually go way back. I met her when she was quite young.
Yes,
and her
beautiful
kids were
woman.
little. Yes. Yeah.
She's a beautiful woman, and she actually was my choreographer and musical teacher when I performed in Mamma Mia. She deserves this award.
Yes, she
If she
does.
can train me to sing and
So-
dance, she deserves 10 of them.
Being able to handle a crowd, it's like herding kittens. I don't doubt for 1 minute the job that she has.
That woman.
Definitely.
Candace is a music teacher at Jameson Hill Memorial High in Miramichi East, and she has spent countless hours dedicated to coaching and influencing young creative minds in Miramichi for the 20 years that I've known her. She's at least been doing this 20 years.
Yes.
And there is a young woman of influence. And the
Oh,
young
that's right,
woman of
too.
influence is close to my heart. I admired her as a youth for many, many years, and she is being honored in the right way. Her name is Kate Estabrooks. And Kate is
Oh,
one of the
okay.
founding members of Project End the Stigma. So again, to do with mental health, and she's a great advocate. She's been a valedictorian at the high school last year she was. She's just a very smart, inspirational young woman.
Very
who-
well-rounded.
well-rounded,
right?
beautiful musical singing voice, talented actress, you name it, she has it. And so, yeah, she's going to be receiving the Young Woman of Influence, and I cannot wait for this
It's going to be
evening.
an exciting night, yeah. I wonder if there's any tickets left, because they're only going to be holding, the room only holds so many. So if you
Yeah.
haven't gone out and gotten your ticket, or you're looking for something to do this weekend, that's definitely something to take in and be a part of.
I know you can go to Blush Beauty Bar at Water Street in Chatham and
Okay.
Town Hill Jewelry,
Jewelry, yes.
in Newcastle.
Yes.
And I'm just not sure. I don't have the list of other places you can
No,
get a ticket.
but those two places for
yeah,
sure
and the
is where
Rod
you
could
can get
inform
them.
people for sure as to
Yeah,
where you get them.
I don't doubt, yeah, you can probably pick them up there as well.
Find out where they get them.
Yeah, for sure. So you attended a housewarming this weekend?
Yes,
What was
I
with that
did.
now?
With my crazy eye, I was in there.
I was like, are you not contagious?
no, I'm not. Actually, what it is for anyone that's dealt with this. It's called a chisalion. I guess that's how you say it. And it's an irritation. It's like a blockage of a duct inside the eye, like an oil gland.
Yeah.
And it can be, it's like an ingrown sty on the inside. So it had to be catered to and treated by an ophthalmologist, et cetera. So I'm on the mend with that, hopefully.
Well, I mean, to our viewers, it's that time of season where, you know, the colds and the flus and the little bit of all of that.
No, it's
Do you
not
think
that.
it wasn't related to that?
It's a blockage. So
Okay.
that's being dealt
Okay.
with, and that's here and
Yeah.
there. It's a minor thing, and you know, on a big scale, it's a minor thing.
Right.
But I did really feel obligated to go to the housewarming for a dear friend of mine, and I thought, what do you give somebody? You don't know what art they like. You don't know exactly what their
No, a
decor is.
housewarming.
So money.
Oh,
Everyone
okay.
needs money.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they can
This
pick what
is
they
true.
want.
This is true. Then they can pick out the decor that they want.
But
for
I
sure.
love happy events, so we have so many far and few between. I'm usually going to a wake or a funeral or something really depressing.
No, it's nice to go to an event where
Happy.
they're celebrating, and it's a good event.
a new beginning,
thing.
a new
Yeah.
beginning, moving into a beautiful new home that people work so hard for, and just it was so beautiful too that the house makes you not want to go home.
No, exactly. That's just it. Talking a little bit about health, it is cold season. Do bundle up. What about the flu shot?
It's
What's
everywhere.
Yeah,
People are-
exactly.
people
I
are
notice a lot
recommending.
of the pharmacies and things like that. It's they're having get your flu shot days, and young children and elderly, of course, who are at
Exactly.
a lot more risk
Yes.
than the rest of the population. But I'd have to say, I just want to say hi to Danae. I have her home sick from school
Oh,
again
no.
today. Yeah, she's battling it. She's actually asking why is she sick again?
Is it the same?
You
flu?
know, I'm not
another-
exactly sure. She's complaining of a lot of similar symptoms, so we're keeping an eye, kind of
Yeah.
thing. So, but
They get run down.
no, they do. So make sure you're getting your vitamins, things like that, as well as keeping an eye on all of that, and
Sleep,
dressing
water.
right, washing your hands.
Yes, wash your hands.
Yeah,
Eat
definitely.
healthy, sleep.
No, that's just it. We have a great show lined up for our viewers. We want you not to go far. We are going to take a short commercial break, but we have Robbie Tucker joining us, who is a local talent here in Miramichi. And we also have some business owners, Mark and Amanda Downey, who are going to be joining us from River City Fitness.
It's a good show.
It is going to be a really good show, so you're not going to want to miss it. We'll be back with more after the break. Don't go away. And we're back with more Have a Chat. Joining us now is our first guest, Robbie Tucker. Hello, Robbie.
Hi, how's it going, ladies?
Not too
Good.
bad. How
Well,
are you?
I'm
Sad.
good at being awkward.
No, exactly. Well, first of all, we want to welcome you to the show.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're a local musician, and some filmmaking is what is underneath your belt as far as career kind of things going on. But we're going to get you to tell us a little bit about who you are specifically to our viewers, in case there's somebody out there who doesn't know Robbie Tucker.
Okay. Well, I grew up here in the Miramichi. I was raised in the White Rapids. I lived here till I was 20. Well, I moved away and came back a number
Okay.
of times, but eventually I did move to Montreal, and I stayed there for 15 years or
Big
12
city,
years.
big difference from Miramichi.
Yeah, I really fell in love with the fact that you could get from point A to point B on a bike and never really have to be in a car, right?
True.
Okay.
I love Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal's a beautiful
It
place.
is a beautiful
yeah.
city.
It is.
I'm partial.
Yeah, I moved there from Halifax actually, and it's the long. I had been in Toronto and Charlottetown and Winnipeg and a bunch
Oh.
of different places, but
Right,
I never stayed there any longer than 4 weeks, 6 months.
right.
Yeah,
Something
so
about Montreal. Yeah.
No,
there was
exactly.
something about Montreal, yeah, that I really fell in love
Me
with.
too.
Right. So then you moved back to Miramichi when?
I moved back to Miramichi. It must have been 3 years ago,
Okay.
2016,
Mhm.
and it was just because. Well, when I moved to Montreal, and that was 2004, I had been starting to have some health issues, and I didn't really
Right.
know what they were exactly. Just my arms kind of stopped swinging when I walked.
Oh,
Just weird stuff.
Right.
And I did go to the doctor some when I was in Halifax, but then I eventually just moved to Montreal, and it just got it quickly got progressively worse.
So when you were in Montreal is when your health issues started to creep up on you
And it
enough
really started I could see it, like something is really wrong with me.
Okay,
And then it was
exactly.
just a year of going to doctors.
Trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure it out, yeah.
And if you don't mind me asking, what age were you then?
I would have been about 24 really when I started seeing symptoms.
Okay.
24.
Yeah, I was 27 or 28 when I was diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Wow, that's
Which-
quite young.
And
isn't
I
it?
don't
Yeah.
really
People
truthfully
used to
know
say
much
that a
about
lot,
it.
yeah, and I feel bad that they don't say that as much anymore. That's awful young. I'm like, people used to say that more. Am I not quite as young anymore?
You're
No.
still young.
Yeah, but yeah, that is young.
can-
It's around the same age that Michael J. Fox was diagnosed with
Oh,
Parkinson's.
is it?
Which is
Okay.
probably the only other person that
Most people can relate
think
to.
of it.
Other,
Yeah.
other famous person.
Yeah, other
Other famous people other than
famous
Robbie
people,
Tucker.
yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Could you tell me, I know of people, like not personally, but of people that have Parkinson's, but I and the viewers may not, and Audrey know all there is to know about it. I mean, you said you had an onset of symptoms where your arms were not moving
Yeah.
as they should, but what other things?
Well,
Visual?
I'm sure it'd probably be the same for you ladies. What do you think of when you think of Parkinson's?
I think of altered movement. I think of uncontrollable movement.
Yeah.
That's one thing I think of, but I don't know.
Shaking is the first thing that comes to mind for me.
That's
Is
that's
not
what I
being
thought.
able to,
Shaking?
yeah,
Yeah.
the shaking, tremors, or
Oh.
whatever it is you want to
Yeah.
call them when you're trying to sit still,
Okay.
especially. They look like they become more noticeable.
That's the only thing that I thought.
When you
back
heard.
then when I thought of Parkinson's, I thought, isn't that when an old person shakes? And I didn't
Yeah.
really even know if it was a disease.
Mhm.
I just thought at that point in my life, when old people get a certain age, maybe they shake,
Right.
Yes.
like a tremor or a resting tremor or whatever.
Yes.
But I never had that. So I took medication for the first 5 years, which was a complete and total nightmare because the
Oh.
medication that I took at that point just ravaged and destroyed my life.
Oh, wow.
In what way?
Well,
Side effects?
Side effects, yeah.
Okay.
There's two kinds of medication, that's Requip and Mirapex, that cause things like hypersexuality, compulsive gambling, impulse control disorders, just stuff that
You would
I
never.
wasn't told really about.
But those medications were to curb your.
Yeah,
your,
they took care of my symptoms,
Okay.
but they started creating
Increased
different
everything
problems.
else.
Yeah, personality disorder and again, I'm in a city where nobody knows Robbie Tucker,
Right.
really, so people don't really know what to expect. It's not like my father or my brother or someone
Where
who
they
go,
pick up and say,
they go,
you're not being
something's up
yourself.
with Robbie, you're not,
Yeah.
you're not acting yourself.
You were on your own.
I was on my own, yes.
And then sleep and
Oh my God, and that's kind of just like, almost like being on a drug like cocaine or heroin or something
Oh,
like that.
constant
really?
high.
Because I remember being, going to like an AA meeting, just trying to get around somebody that could help me. Because the neurologist they couldn't do anything. And it wasn't until, they were filming a documentary at the time, Gabby Kieslat, Emery Murchison, their Hot Smoked Pictures is their company. They did a documentary called Musically Medicated,
Okay.
and it was about that. And Gabby had spoke with my neurologist, my last neurologist that I had in Montreal. And he's like, he became my new neurologist because my current neurologist was like, I don't know what you want me to do, Robbie, because it's something that happens with all the medication that you take, which just left me like, well, I might as well just hang myself
that
now.
would be
Yeah.
so brutal.
Because,
to
like, there's
Very
nothing I can do.
discouraging.
But Dr. Dagger was my last neurologist's name, and he's like, no, you need to get off this branch of medication.
Good.
And he
Okay.
took me off, and it was like that.
I bet you
It was
wasted
like
that 5
it
years
was like
of going
black
through
and
hell,
white,
basically.
night and day. Yeah, it was
A rough ride.
pretty ravaging. Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
taking you off all that medication, does that not turn around and bring back all your symptoms?
No,
from-
it's just a different kind of medication.
Oh, okay. Okay. He
it works,
switched
but
you.
in a different
Wow,
way.
I'm so
Okay.
happy
So he
for
takes
that.
me out slowly and makes a switch,
Okay.
Good.
and it works. The problem now is with this medication, and I guess to an extent the other medication, is now I've been taking medication for such a long period of time
Okay.
that now I'm starting to see secondary effects from using the medication for so long. So I can have, which I'm not having right now, but I do frequently have what's called dyskinesia,
Yes, I've
which
heard
is
some of
like an
that. Yes,
uncontrolled,
that's-
like sometimes I
Yeah.
just cannot stop moving.
Oh, wow.
So I'll
okay.
sit down at my piano to try to practice, and my legs are just like out to lunch. They're just doing other things.
Well, that's what I'm thinking of when you say Parkinson's,
Yeah.
because I've known and seen people over
Yeah.
the years with that presentation. So
Yeah.
that's why I thought of that first.
Yeah, so that's
No.
not the disease. That's secondary effects now from medication. But
Oh, is it?
I guess
Okay.
it is a part because you're taking that drug for.
Exactly, because I was thinking, well, the medication you're on is supposed to be limiting
Yeah.
and making those symptoms less.
Yeah.
Now, is music something you've done all along? Like when you were
Music
in
is,
Montreal, like you're.
Yeah, I started here when I was working. I used to work at Jungle Gyms years and years and years and years and years ago.
Stop it. Make me old.
And I remember recording and releasing my first album, the Leaden Street Sessions, where I thought, can I write songs? Am I good at that? I didn't know if I was.
Right.
So I'm like, I'll just, because I wrote, like, I can remember writing something in grade 9 and then just had a band in grade 9 with, just cover stuff. And then high school was in like concert band and just really got into music
Right.
and singing and realized that I could sing. And then, then I moved to Montreal and was in this weird, like kind of hovering space where half of the album I feel like was done when I was like, what is going on? What is wrong with me? Like your health is totally deteriorating. I can remember collapsing in the floor of my kitchen just like, because I'd tried everything.
Right.
I'd done everything that I could possibly think of. I'd talked to every doctor I could get a hold of, and they all said, basically I thought it was nuts.
Yeah.
And then they give you this medication and
Well, your
brain
age
turns
too.
back on. Yeah, I was
Your
very
age
young,
too
very
threw
young.
them off, I'm sure, for a loop.
So that album, Songs from Apartment 12, was kind of half in and like half off medication and not knowing who
Okay.
and where I was, what was happening.
Kind of like the Beatles when they wrote some of their stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, a little bit
All
like
their
a
stuff.
little bit like the Beatles.
Strawberry Fields.
Yeah.
No comment.
But and then the other half is, oh, now I know what's wrong, and to listen to it now, it's kind of like you think that you know that this is all it's ever going to be. Well, I just take this medication and it'll be fine. And then there wasn't too long after that, I did an album called Green Room in 2007, and
Green room.
you can kind of hear the drugs on that album.
Okay.
And I don't think in a psychedelic way. It's just it's very amped up. Songs like The Carnival, just big stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Loud.
Yeah. And then after that, because I was on that medication then, and after Green Room, I pawned every living thing that I had.
Oh.
My guitar that my father bought when I was 16,
Oh.
my bass, my electric piano, my father's mandolin, and like I'm surprised that I still have the first guitar that my mother and father bought for me. I don't know why I didn't pawn it. And it's not like you're thinking about it. It's not like an unusual thing.
Right.
It's like I don't have any money.
Well, you're.
I need $100 to buy some food.
Oh.
I'm just going to sell this guitar because I have a band now and I don't need that.
Yeah.
And then you end up in a place where you're like, I don't have anything anymore. I pawned everything I owned.
But you'd almost hit a depression. You'd have to hit a depression, wouldn't you?
Oh, for sure,
big
for
lull
sure. Yeah,
when
yeah.
You when you lose everything that meant something to you, and
Yeah.
your mental state at that age is
So there was
affected.
a huge period there from 2007 when I released Green Room. God, when I did Acoustic Fudge, which was the album after that, I think it was 2015, 2014. So
I
it
love
was
that name.
quite a few years later. And I had been like, I still had never got the money because I wasn't working. I didn't work a regular job. I couldn't do that.
No.
So I just thought, well, I have an acoustic guitar and I have my voice and I have my chest. I can make rhythm on that. So that's why that album is called Acoustic Fudge.
And pardon me, what do you sing? What is it? Heavy rock? Is
No,
it
people always say folk,
folk?
folk-ish,
Folkish?
pop.
Like
folkish pop.
comparable to what artist would you say in the line of who do you love to listen
Well,
to that?
I'm a huge fan of Elvis. I've always been a huge fan of Roy Orbison,
Oh, me too.
Paul McCartney. Those are my
Me too.
heroes. Yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't say I sound like them, but I do. I do kind of write. My songs kind of do like the music kind of sounds a little Paul McCartney-ish. People
Very
do tell me
nice.
that.
Because these
yeah.
two albums you talked about, right? So the Apartment 12 and the Green Room, are those all songs you've written?
Yeah, all the albums are all
Yes.
stuff that I wrote.
Yeah.
And after that was when I moved back home because I eventually had to admit to myself that, Robbie, I can't do this anymore. I can't bike from one end of Montreal to the other, and then halfway your legs stop working and you're like pushing through the most agonizing pain just try to get home.
Okay.
Pain.
So there's pain
Just
that
like-
goes along with this diagnosis then?
It's like you go from functional to I can't walk.
Oh dear.
I can't get my body from the living room to the bathroom.
Weakness and pain accompany.
Weakness, yeah, it's like your legs stopped working
Yeah.
and you're trying to drag yourself from one place to the other.
You look so good. You work out. No, you do work.
Thank
no,
you.
doesn't he? Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
He does, though. You
Yeah.
do.
Well, see,
Well,
that's,
you look perfectly healthy.
Yes, you do.
that's what
That's what's
I get that a
deceiving, I
lot.
think, to our viewers.
Very
They're like,
young looking, very
yeah.
Well,
good.
that's, I think that kind of came along with the whole thing where I had to, I learned that I got to take care of myself.
Yes.
I can't smoke, I can't drink,
Yes.
I have to eat properly, I have to work out, I have to do all these things.
Healthy.
Otherwise, because I feel bad enough a lot of the time now.
Right.
I don't want to sound negative, like it's
No,
like
it's
I'm
reality.
whining or something. But
Reality.
you have to be, okay, I have to do as many things as I can so I can feel as best I can the most amount of time, right?
I love that
Exactly.
attitude. I
Now,
love
did
it.
you go through a little trial and error when you were diagnosed and you were in Montreal and the medications and things like that and things were not good to cross over to alcohol or other kinds of
Substance abuse.
substances
I started smoking, which my friend Jerome, who used to play guitar with me, he always said, people don't start smoking when they're 30 years old.
Well, that's just it.
Generally.
In my head, everything you're talking about, I'd be like, "Ah,
But I did
Pour me a
drink,
drink.
like nothing heavy, beer, wine.
No.
But I was terrified
okay.
that I was going to get into crack or heroin or something because
Yeah, that's what I
when
was. I'm like, how did you manage to avoid?
I mean when you experience things like hypersexuality and you get in your bed and you haven't slept for 3 days and you're just totally exhausted,
Right.
you know, just go to sleep, just go to sleep, and you get up. And I heard that come out of the mouth of somebody who was a cocaine addict that was at an AA meeting that I went to. I'm like, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, you can relate
Like-
to that person.
You have no control over your body. It's just like
Right.
it's going to do all these things,
Oh
and you're
my
like, oh my
gosh.
God, I'm screwed.
And you do
No.
film too. You do film making.
Well, since I moved home, I did another album, number 5, because it was my 5th album. Just 5 tracks, pop songs that I did with a
Nice.
couple of people that I met
Right.
online. And then I started to, because I did some music videos for those songs, and I was like, you know, I really like making these videos. I'm going to try to do something that I've never done before. Because I feel like when you've never done something, if you've never written a song, your first 5, 10 songs are going to be quirky, maybe great. So if you've never done something before, you have no training in it, it's kind of an interesting angle to go from.
Yes.
Right.
So this last project that I just released on the 24th, which is called The Boy in the Bathroom Sink, which took me just about 2 years to do because I ended up using so much of my old music from all those previous albums, but also creating new music and working. I had the opportunity to get music from people that I met over the years, to use their music in it, and then just getting into editing and realizing, oh, if I open this door, the sound's going to be much higher than when I close it.
Yeah.
And you realize how much work
Complicated.
something like that is.
Yeah.
So it took almost 2 years, but it ended up being a 3-episode series. The first 2 episodes are 40 minutes. Last episode is an hour. And you can go online. theboyinthebathroomsink.com is where you could see it.
Okay. People want to check
Yeah,
that
we're
out.
definitely going to check that out.
And it's cool. It's cool to make something now and to be in an age where you don't need a DVD, you don't need a cassette, you don't need a CD.
No.
You can just
Creativity.
create media
Be
and it
creative.
can
No.
just be there
I
forever.
love that. I love your
No.
talent.
Well, thank you.
Really?
No, it's,
No, but
Thank you.
musically
No.
inclined.
Well,
and-
with the
and-
internet and things like that and the different apps that are out there, even my youngest daughter threw together, you know, she sang a cover, did a lip sync kind of thing, but made her own music video to
Yeah.
it. And it's on
There's-
YouTube as well. And we're sitting there watching it last night going,
Amazing.
how much time it would have taken for all those different clothing changes, all the different
Yeah.
locations, you know, for that portion of the song or that portion of the song. I don't think people realize
No.
even a little app like that is still a lot of work when you put it all together.
It comes together nicely.
It's crazy. If you even think 15, 20 years ago how much more difficult it would be to do something in film, now everybody's got a camera in their pocket.
That's right.
Right at
It's
their
so
fingertips.
easy
Yeah.
No.
and high quality stuff. So
That's just it. So tell us now, we're about to go to break and be done with your portion of the interview. So where do you see yourself now? What's the future hold for you?
well, doing this project, spending so much time standing in front of the computer editing has made me want to do something more organic.
Okay.
And at the moment, I'm learning to read music, play the piano. So I'm kind of taking a break from being in front of the computer. I think the next thing that I do will be more acoustic sounding, more organic, but more experimental, something that I've never done before. I've done things.
You want to grow.
I want to grow, I want to do something
Change it
different.
up.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're working out. Good for you.
Yes.
I think.
Trying to
I
stay on
try.
top of your health as you go along.
Yeah,
It
you've
can be
got
a
to.
full-time
You've
job
got
as
to.
well.
You're doing
Yeah.
amazing. Keep up the great work.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much,
Thanks
Robbie,
for
for
making
joining
time
us.
for us
It was a
today.
pleasure to be here with you.
Definitely. Don't forget to go on to YouTube and check out Robbie, Boy in the Bathroom Sink. He's got a little 3-episode
Yep.
show there that he has
cool.
created
Check it
himself.
out.
We'll be back with more Have a Chat after the break. Don't go away. And we're back with more Have a Chat. Joining us now is our next guest, Mark and Amanda Downey. Good afternoon.
Hello, ladies.
Guys.
Hi,
Thank
thanks
you
for
for
joining
having
us
us.
today.
Thank you for having us.
Finally got you on here.
Took some time.
Busy schedules.
It's like
Busy
pulling
schedules.
teeth. These two, it's like, come on, you two, you can make time for an hour, surely.
No,
But they're
exactly.
busy.
Yes, busy, busy, busy. We're going to get you to chat a little bit about yourselves in case there's anybody out there who doesn't know who you are.
Well, I grew up here in Miramichi in Douglastown. I lived here for 19 years and moved to Moncton and worked there for 11 years for my aunt who was also an entrepreneur.
Oh.
Yeah, and met Mark when we were 13, but we got together when we were 25 and
My.
yeah, long story
Wow.
short, we moved here when we were 30 and
It's a long time to be friends.
yeah.
To turn into partners, to turn into parents. Crazy how
Right.
time
I
flies.
was waiting for the right time.
Yeah, exactly. And Mark?
I'm Mark Downey. I actually grew up in Blackville. My parents still live there now. I moved to Halifax, where I spent 5 years bartending my way through university.
Good.
I escaped with a finance degree, and we got together my last year, and then we moved home to Moncton. And a couple years there, we moved home and
Yeah.
started a family, and now a business. So
So you have
No.
2 beautiful children you want to talk about briefly?
We do, yes. We have 2 kids. We have a daughter, Gemma. She is 6, going to be 7, and Jude, who's 4. They keep us busy, that's for sure.
Busy, busy.
Yeah.
You do photography.
$1 million family,
I
they
do,
say.
yeah.
Amanda does photography as well as the business we're here to talk about.
That's
so
correct.
that's another great skill you have.
Yes, I love that actually. It was so random how I came into photography really. My father bought a camera and I really wanted to take good pictures of my daughter. So before I had her, I started practicing and it just came really natural to me. Art has always been really important to me.
You are
so
natural.
yeah, so it came really easy and yeah.
I
so
love her work. You've
yeah.
seen her work.
Oh, yes.
And if anyone has
Yeah.
not, you can certainly, how would they get a hold of you for pictures? Do they want family shots done or do you do that, bookings?
I do, yep, right on Facebook. You can just look up my personal profile right now. I really only shoot in the summer and fall
Okay.
months, so I have my business page open then, but
Okay.
if you want to look at my work, it's right on my...
Yeah, you've probably seen some of her work. She just finished and wrapped up her hot cocoa, or is that still
Yeah,
going
still
on?
going. I have one more weekend
Oh,
of the
do
hot
you?
cocoa.
Yes, of
yeah,
your hot
that's a
cocoa
season
stand.
in our house, yeah.
No, that's just it. Everybody's
Yeah.
like, where did those pictures come from? And I'm like, Amanda.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
Yeah,
beautiful.
they are. They're absolutely gorgeous.
thank you,
Everybody's
guys.
talking about you and your photos and just raving about them. So
Oh.
we wish you the best of luck and great success with that. But
Thank
we're
you.
here to talk about the joint venture you two took on.
That's right, the fun one.
Yes.
When did it all begin?
No,
The
when it
third
all began,
child.
because
The
you were
third
into
child, that's
financing,
right.
yeah, I
right?
actually
And you worked at one of the local banks here.
I was the branch manager at the Bank of Montreal in Chatham, which is no longer open. It was,
No.
but I was probably the worst job I've ever had in my life.
Mark.
Audrey,
Oh.
listen, I'm not.
For him personally,
The
just
hour of
not the
honesty.
job itself,
No, I'm
but
sure
for
it's a
you
great job.
personally.
I'm just not a no person. Like I
Right.
said, I was a bar
No.
manager for 5-6 years in Halifax. There was only the word yes in my vocabulary.
Right.
So at first we moved home. My father had a stroke, and then we found out that Amanda was pregnant. So I took a lateral transfer with the Bank of Montreal up here,
Okay.
so that we could kind of get our foot in the ground and get going. And we just ended up actually staying.
Good.
Yeah.
When we first moved, I was kind of excited because we had things called limits with the bank. So if you knew somebody and
Right.
you could kind of put a little bit of extra weight on, and you could give them whatever they needed. Really, because
Yes.
it's on you. Of
Yeah.
course,
So
probably.
you thought you'd be able to say
oh,
yes more
absolutely.
often?
Yeah, I mean, just put it on your credit card. I'll look after you when I get home.
Yeah.
And then when we got up here, they got rid of them. So, I'm asking somebody in Halifax for money for someone in Miramichi, and I live with everyone here,
No,
so it's
exactly.
I mean, some people would take it great if you had to deny them. So most not so well.
No.
No.
I would worry all weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday
Yeah,
about
it's a hard business.
about
Yeah.
a loan that I was like, oh my God, they're going to
Yeah.
be so mad. And you tell them they
Yeah.
wouldn't care. So I was like, I ruined my whole weekend for nothing.
Right, it
No.
was a lot in the head
Yeah.
all the time.
So, I mean, for me, that was the hard part. I mean,
No.
the investment portion I really, really liked.
Good.
Right.
It was.
You understood it. You're a numbers guy.
Yeah, it all
Right?
boiled down to denying loans and the bank taking people's houses. And,
You have
but I
too
mean,
big of a
it's
heart
not
for
my
that.
not my fault. I know, but
No,
I
but
mean,
it's a hard
still,
Yeah.
thing to watch.
I'm the
Mhm.
person
Yeah.
that they're pointing the finger at.
Right.
That's right.
But I mean,
It's not
now
the-
you're sitting there in a job that you don't absolutely love, and like, what a light bulb goes off and goes, I'm going to buy a building and I'm going to open a gym. Like, how does that even come across your mind?
Well, the building sort of presented itself first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
because it was the old Lockhart's building,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
was.
And it had been vacant for a while. It had been sitting there.
Yeah, it
Right?
actually had been vacant for a while. They were actually using it for storage when we got that building and the United Rentals building, so right to the
Oh,
street.
yes, right there.
For people that don't know, we're talking about Chatham Head.
Yes.
The
Yes,
Chatham
which
Head
is
area
where
where-
the Morrissey Bridge, where you
Yeah.
would enter on there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is now closed.
Which is closed.
Yes.
You're tucked in the corner, just off,
We
just
are.
before the roundabout.
Yeah.
Very nicely in there.
That's right,
River-
just perfectly in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
River
So
City.
we had decided that we were going to do this very quickly. We're still
I was
kind
going
of
to say, how did you bring that up to her?
we're still
Honey, I
kind of
wanna
we're still
buy
kind of
this
arguing on
building.
that one
We
right
are.
now. We're not in agreement.
No, we're not in agreement. I don't remember when it was, but I remember we had the building, or we were looking at the building, and he was like, I have an idea for it. And he sat down in the chair and he was like, I want to open a gym. I was like, no.
Okay. You had a baby by
End of
this time. You
discussion.
had
That's right, we had a
child.
baby.
Yes.
Yes.
There was just so much.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
we have some great gyms here in Miramichi. We have lots of gyms. So
Mm-hmm.
the idea of opening another one right off the hop, it was
like,
a little bit,
eh.
yeah. I don't remember if I was pregnant or
Hesitant.
not pregnant at that time, but anyway, it was
We
like,
found out very shortly after you were pregnant.
yeah,
But-
well
Yeah.
there. So
It was very
worked
short.
out.
It was a very short period of time from when we decided we were going to do it to when we actually did it. So we have another company with my father, which does a lot of commercial holdings. So I had a really bad day. I had to use a sick day. I wasn't sick. I just couldn't go to work that
Personal day.
You know, we had a bad day the day prior, and I was like, you know what? I'm using my sick time up to sit at home because I hate my job. I was like, I'm not going to live a very long life like this.
No.
So, like anybody that's looking for an idea, I went on with realtor sites, Kijiji, and then we found this building. And I talked it over with my father, and within a month we bought the buildings. We had a local realtor help us broker the deal.
Okay.
And within a month from that, we had our paperwork with CBDC, and we were approved. And
Awesome.
then I had to build a gym before December.
So did the idea of the gym go along with purchasing the building, or it was just, I want to get my hands on this building first and do something?
The building was, I don't know what else I could have done with it. It was
Okay.
8,500 square feet
Good
just on our
intentions.
side alone.
You had the gym in mind.
We were looking for a building for a gym. It was
Right.
It was.
realistically the only thing that brought any joy to my life outside of my marriage.
Okay.
And I
So
think
this is
I was
something you
driving
did
her
before.
crazy, so I had to get out of the house and do
Yeah.
something.
I think it's
right?
No.
wonderful to
Yeah.
live out your dream. And,
Yeah.
and I mean, just to jump forward to this day, it's hugely successful. And you were talking about the aspect of competitiveness, which is in everything, right?
That's right.
There's so many businesses that are there and they're all doing well or relatively well. So that must have been kind of a, will I do okay with this venture, was it?
Well, you know what? It was at first, and as we came closer and closer to opening, I know that, I mean, we felt nerves, of course, but there was a part of us in the pit, well, I don't know about Mark, but for me in the pit of my stomach, I knew it would do well. I really did. We really believed in what we were opening.
Right.
We really believed that we would be able to create the atmosphere that we
Felt
we
was
have now.
Yeah, exactly.
we
That
really
might
thought
have been
we
not
would-
lacking from other facilities.
That's right, just something
offering
different.
something different.
We really did, as far as like just even the way it looks.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
whole vibe.
we really did. The whole vibe of the gym is different, and I really felt like we would do well. I really did, and of course we were nervous, but
But
I mean,
personality
excited
counts
at the
for
same
so
time.
much. Personality counts for who you walk and welcome into that
Yeah.
door and say, like, we can get you where you want to be. I mean, you're known now as a power couple in the
Yeah.
city of
Oh,
Miramichi.
wow.
You are a young power couple. So together, you're a team. And together you're doing amazing things. Audrey can attest to that. And,
No, exactly. 'Cause
And
I'm not-
Robbie,
I'm
that was
not-
just on.
And I never was a big on gym going. I had tried many different kinds of things, and I'm not going to lie. The first time I stepped in there, I was like, yeah, it's a big room, it's got weights, it's same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Right.
as I kept going and realizing that the atmosphere and the positive vibe that the owners, Mark
Yes,
and Amanda,
yes.
and the people that they hired was different.
Makes such a difference,
Yeah.
doesn't
Right?
it?
It
It was
does.
so welcoming and so like my second home, truly, that I feel. And you could tell that by them, that's what they wanted people to feel. That's what their
We-
energy was positive and was very welcoming outward, and it couldn't help but draw people in.
See, and that I don't think that'll ever get old to hear that, because that is truly what we wanted. We wanted people to know they always had a place. They were always going to be welcome when they walked through that door. Someone was going to greet you with a great big hello and genuinely care about how your day was.
No.
They were going to say goodbye to you because they genuinely are telling you, see you later, see you tomorrow.
Like
You
I know
know?
a lot of people are like, you're at the gym again, because when I walk in, I'll touch base and say, I am here. And it has nothing to do with me trying to boast to myself that I am at the gym and I've gone there again to make anybody else feel bad.
Well, I
It
eat
truly
my
had
chips
to do, well, you're Audrey's at the gym, look.
10 bars of chocolate.
really-
Oh, good for her.
It really had more to do with one, holding myself accountable. Number two, I believe in the business that I was going to and I want to promote them. Right?
We
It
do
really
appreciate
does.
that.
Yes, we
Like I
do.
said,
You know?
Every time you check
Because
She's
I
a
know at first
success
I'd
story.
hesitate, do I tell
It's
people I'm
true.
here again? And I'm like, yes,
Why
I'm
not?
telling
It's
people
an
here I am.
inspiration.
It's advertising. I'm in business myself. I get it. I know how that works and I believe in, I
But
wouldn't
you're
be saying that.
consistent. You're consistent and you're motivated, and I'd like to bring that up, that everyone should try to be motivated something and to stick to the plan.
Yes, it's so
But the
true.
other thing I have to say is what I truly believe, my husband's always said that no matter what area we're involved in, going to businesses, the owners should be present a lot of the time
Yes.
to oversee what's going on, to make the people realize who is in charge, that they are able to go to the owners and say, we'd like this, or we feel this. Or, if you're never there, it's
Well,
easy to
they're more
open up a
aware.
house and just leave it to
No.
whoever and
Yeah.
check in every now and then. But
Yeah.
Audrey, with your business, you're there all the time, whether you're doing hair or not. You're probably overseeing things, making sure the girls are okay. And people are there most of the time when you're not
I was
at
actually
home.
sleeping there the first couple months that we opened.
I believe it.
I had other matters I was looking after for my father, and it
Yes.
required a great deal of paperwork. And if I knew if I went home, I was going to go to bed, and I was not going to do this work. So I would usually end up in my office going through sifting through 5 years worth of paperwork and until about 4:30 in the morning, and then I'd go sleep on the yoga room floor for an hour, and then open till Tina and Amanda
Oh my
came
gosh.
in. So.
Sheer
Yeah.
passion.
Oh.
It was. We brought our son to work the first 5 months that we were open. He was 4 months old when we opened, so he would come in with us, and
He sold more memberships than
yeah,
anybody.
it's true. We called him the boss. Yeah.
They're adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just was. We did what we had to
What
do,
we had
and
to
really
do.
it was. We enjoyed it. Those first few months. I mean, they were tough, but
Challenging,
we just hoped that first day that at least 10 people came in, and we were so swamped that day. We're coming up on
I
our
was
year.
there at 5:30 in the morning, and I didn't know what to expect. I really
Right.
didn't. It
First
was December
day.
1st, very first day. I sat there for an hour to crickets, just crickets. And I got looking around. I was like, couldn't rent it.
Yeah.
I was like, I could
You
just,
start second-guessing
I
yourself.
started thinking, okay, well, because we had to put a second on our house.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what worried me the most is my daughter just loves her bedroom.
Yeah.
So I'm pacing the floor at night. I'm like, did I just sell her bedroom?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
how am I going to explain this to her, right?
It was a fear. a real
And then the first customer walked in at 6:30, and it was Megan Murphy, and she's still there now.
Imagine.
And I always tell her she's number one because she was literally
She's
the first
right,
person that
number
came
one.
through the door.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy and Mo, and then David Hawkyard, and then
Look at
Jill
this
Hackett.
memory.
Oh my God! Every time I'd almost do a backflip when somebody walked in, and more and more people. And I even sold a membership, and I was like, okay, maybe this is going to work.
But you do have the personality to draw people. I say, you know, if you're going to be a dull person running a business, you're going to have to do something to kind of get those people there other than your
Well, the
personality.
thing
but
is
you have
there's
that.
such a wide variety of types of clientele. The people
Absolutely.
he's talking about that walk through the door are people who are into health and fitness to begin with, and they were doing some of those things to begin with, right? And then there's those people who are looking to get healthier in the first place. That's another set of clientele and you have to be able to, and Mark and Amanda do an amazing job at no matter what level you're at, they're welcoming.
Like if
100%.
nobody's
It
ever
doesn't
been there
matter.
before, you're a 60-year-old woman that just wants to get in shape for the remainder of your life, then,
No.
That's right.
then that's intimidating. So
It
you have to
can be.
walk them
No.
through the gentle steps of beginner.
Yeah.
And that's our bread
Absolutely.
and butter. Like our
Yeah.
whole goal is new clientele. Like Audrey, you've been coming to the gym for years. You can walk into any gym anywhere. You have the skill set to go work out and the confidence to walk through
Yes.
the door. It's that brand new person that's going to go in and kick the tire. And those are the people that we focus on. So that's why we came up with the idea of a 3-day trial. Because then we know, okay, these people, they have to come 3 days in a row. We can check on them for the first 3 days to make sure they have any questions, give them enough time to try everything. And usually, you know, we have a 50% retention ratio. They'll at least try it for a month.
It's growing
So
and
if
growing.
we can
your
get them to
business.
come in the door, you know, we do a 50% chance of getting them to stay.
And
Now,
all ages.
Yeah.
All
no,
ages.
well, believe it or not, the show's almost over. We got a couple of minutes left, so I want to make
Okay.
sure you've done a lot with the gym from the day that you've opened, and you've added a lot more services within the gym, with it being 24 hours and having the shakes and things like that, and different types of memberships that you offer. What's next? What's
Ooh,
on deck?
there's
'Cause
so
I
many
know you're
things
the way
on
you're
deck right
There's
now.
things you've got on the back burner that you're thinking about. Is there anything you can share with us?
Well, you know what? We probably have 2 or 3 different projects that we'd like to try by spring.
Okay.
I'd like to probably keep it a little quiet right
Sure.
now.
Okay.
Sure.
Just because
We'll have
of
to
what
have
it
them back.
is.
Yes,
Yeah.
we will.
Oh, yeah. But the reason why we try to keep putting the money where people can see it is we want people to know that, you know, we're not wasting your money. Like,
No.
we will reinvest
putting
in
it
the
back
business.
into
We're going to
you.
continue.
There's
And-
supplements now. There's
right.
online shopping if you
Yep.
can't get out to the gym.
Competitions that
Free
you put
local
online.
delivery.
Free local delivery
Yeah.
is even delivering.
Yeah.
Nice. And,
Yeah.
and the competitiveness aspect is growing and growing. People are training and going on to compete, and
That's
you can be
right.
proud
Yeah,
of those.
that's stirring a lot of interest
One of
within the
Audrey's
gym as
achievements.
well, too.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
it's got such
Inspires
Audrey's
people,
killing
it
it.
It
seems.
does. You have
Audrey
such a
is.
good
She
community
is.
in there. You know, people support you and think about you and are inspired by you that you don't even realize. You
Well,
know,
no,
and
that's
that's the
just
thing.
it. And having strangers
Yeah.
come up to me and stop me and feel like I like to feel like I'm approachable. I mean, I'm doing
You
this
are.
for me and my own personal gains kind of thing. But if it does, I have people private message me or come up, I don't want to interrupt your workout, I just have to say.
Yeah.
And I think that's great that type of gym, the atmosphere that you guys have started has, you know, rippled right through the entire gym.
Yeah, it's
Right?
We're really, really happy
You're
to
very
hear that.
approachable though, too, though. Like
She
when you're in the
is.
gym, you're always talking and laughing, just like
This
the
is
majority
true.
of
I'm
our
very,
clients,
yeah,
right?
I'm very
So,
easygoing.
I mean,
There's those
so
people who are actually
see that
trying to
too.
concentrate.
So that's why there's these people that are coming up
right.
to you, right? But
Well, we want to thank you so much for joining us
Thanks for
today.
having
us. Come back.
And coming on
Yes,
the show.
definitely.
We can't wait to find out what's in store for the gym coming up in the spring, so we'll definitely have
Have
you
a
back.
great week, everybody.
Thank you for watching us here at Have a Chat. We'll see you again next week. Bye for now.